So the first thing I want to do to get started is age up these rugs a little bit because they're just way too white and clean. So what I'm just going to do for that, which I did this in my Hocus Pocus dollhouse, I'm just going to take some water and get the ends of that wet, and then take some of my gray paint and just kind of go over that a little bit. And I don't want them little fringy things on the end to be looking too perfect. So I'm going to take the gray paint, and then I'm just going to kind of move it around to where it looks a little more raggedy, because I don't want them to look so perfectly uh, spread out and combed out. So I'm just going to take that gray, and I think gray looks pretty good. So I'm going to do that all the way around and maybe a little bit over the whole rug. I don't really like doing it over the rug. I just like getting the edges because I think the rug looks okay. You can just lightly go over some parts if you want to. And I probably will, just lightly. I'm not going to go crazy with it. But you can see how white the edges are compared to out here. And I really don't like how perfect those white parts look. Here's one I've got done. You can see how more realistic that looks compared to down here. So I'll do that to all these rugs and get those placed in, and then we'll start decorating the house with the things that we've got. Okay, so I've got that rug aged, and it honestly don't look as aged in the camera from how it looks in real life. I don't know why things are like that, but anyway, I've got that done, and this is the room where I made the little bookcase last week, and then that's pretty much all I've got ready for this room. So we're going to go ahead and move to the next room over. And for this next room, we've got the same blue rug, and we're going to put that down first. And then I had this piece, and if you watched my little prop video or my little accessory video, you probably saw this. And I'm actually going to put it on this wall here because there's going to be something on that wall back there. I've got these 4 animals that in one episode, I'm not sure which episode it is, I just know it's the one that's got the ape man. These heads are going to go on the wall as like taxidermy, but I thought these small ones would be kind of cute just as decoration on the wall, but they're going to be way too small. And I've actually got some bigger animals that I'm going to use, which will look way better for the scale. And I'm going to be cutting their heads off because they're going to go on there like taxidermy. But I don't have a lion yet. I've got to get a lion, but I'm not going to work on that in this episode anyway. So I did get me some bigger animals so that it would look better for the scale, but that'll have to come later. Now, something else that I've got for this room is these little swords that I made. I showed these little picks, these little wooden picks that were in a hamburger that came from a restaurant. And I've tried to make those look like a sword. They kind of do, they kind of don't. And I just cut out some little pieces of cardboard for the holder. And I'm just going to glue that on the wall. And to me, it's passable. It looks like swords. If you're standing there really staring at it, I don't know what kind of sword that is, but it looks like swords enough to, serve the purpose. And I'm going to glue that over on this wall. And I just hot glued that on. And they're not exactly even. I don't know if you could tell they were a little crooked or not, like when I was holding them, but I've got them hanging up pretty good. And from a side view that most people's going to be seeing this, you're not going to know that they're not in that holder evenly because they look pretty good hanging there the way I've got them. But I'm just making sure that's got a good hold. Now, the other thing for this room, I'll post a picture. Now, the heads, those taxidermy heads, I'll do that in another video. But another thing for this room is this table. This was that table that I was going to use for Dorothy's house and this phone, but I thought it would work so much better for this room, for the Scooby Doo house. So I've just painted that up a darker color, and I've put that phone on there, and I've even put a cord hanging off the back because it shows in the cartoon that there's a cord hanging off the back. So this is going to represent that episode where Velma picks up that phone, and I'll try to post that picture here so you can sort of see that. So I'm just going to sit that in there somehow like that. And then I've got this little random chair that can just sit here, maybe under the swords. It looks pretty cool. The phone can maybe sit here beside it, or maybe just under this wall. Yeah, I kind of like it better out. I don't know. I'll arrange it and play with it more, but I got to get that crazy cord to go a certain direction. But that looks pretty good there. And then, of course, those taxidermy heads will really fill that space up. Oh yeah, and then I've got another piece. I've got the skull head on the books. If I had another little table, I could put that in this room also. See, I've got these little, these little details from each episode. Like this is from an episode, the table's from an episode, the taxidermy heads. But I'm just doing a bunch of stuff in one room because we only have 7 rooms, and I want to try to get as many little Easter eggs stuck in here as possible. So I don't know if these will go in this room or not, but I'm going to keep them sitting here for now until I figure that out. But either way, it's going to have a table to sit on. All right, so for the bedroom, I went ahead and hung that mirror on the wall. I just hot glued that on there. And I don't really have much for this room. I think I've only got 3 things right now. I've got this little bed that I had made, and this old rug, which I stained it up a little bit to make it look a little more old. And then I've got this piece of furniture. Now this piece of furniture came from the miniature show, and it was opened up here. There was a piece of plastic there, and I didn't really like being able to see inside of it because I've never really seen one of these with glass in it. So I just wanted to board that up and make it look like wood. So I just cut a little piece of cardboard to fit that space, and I'll show you the inside. Just a little thin piece of cardboard, kind of like a cereal box. But also, I had that little sticker of the face from the movie Scream, because in the movie Scream, Matthew Lillard plays a character, and Matthew Lillard is the guy that talks for Shaggy. So I just wanted to sneak that character into the house, and I thought I was going to put it in a mirror where it would reflect from the mirror, but I didn't know how I would do that. So I've just stuck him inside here, and I just thought that was kind of cute to open that, and there is that spooky little face. So that's where I decided to put him. And for now, that's pretty much all I've got for the bedroom. And I've got some, of course, I've got to trim out the window, and I'm going to sit that little candle in the window. And then I've got some artwork for the walls. Not yet, but I've got to get that printed up or made somehow. And then I've got to get some blankets for the bed. But so far, that's all I've got for the bedroom. All right, and now for the bathroom. This is the hallway and the bathroom, and there's really not a lot for those either. And even in the episodes where I've seen the bathrooms, there's not a lot in those. But I've gone ahead and hung that little mirror back there, and then I've got the bathtub that I was wanting, and I will put there's a little towel rack hanging on the wall, so I'll put a towel rack in here once I get that made. But the bathtub, I've just spray painted that just really lightly, just to make it look really dirty and nasty, because in the cartoon it looks kind of dirty and grungy. So there's the bathtub.
And I'm going to put that towel rack right here on the wall. Um, and then I think I will use the sink. I've spray painted that real lightly, and then I just sanded some of it back off. I think that's going to go right over on this wall. And that's the only two pieces I'm going to use in this room. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to have to watch it again and just see if there's any kind of a shower curtain hanging down. I don't remember there being a shower curtain, but I may still put like a rod around up at the top like there would have been a shower curtain. But we'll work on that as I get more of the props made for that. And then right over here in the hallway, I've got a little bit of a rug that will lay through there. And I'm still not completely sure about that black wall. It's just going to stay black for now. And I'm going to stick this piece out here. And there'll be a door out here eventually that goes into the bathroom. But that's, I think that's it. I do have this candlestick that I keep putting up here because I think I like how that looks up there. But I want to do something with that black wall. I just ain't decided what to do. But that's what I've got for this area. And then we got three more rooms to check out. Okay, so for the dining room, this is the dining room. This is where I've got that giant rug that pretty well takes up almost all the space, which is nice. I like how it looks in there. Um, I've got this china cabinet here, or this little shelf here, where I had put some tea sets on it and some books and some seashells. And I'm going to kind of go with a nautical theme here because this room is going to represent Captain Cutler, who was like uh, oh my gosh, the word has completely left my mind. Captain of a ship. I think he is a captain of a ship. A captain. I couldn't think of the word captain, but and I've actually got that character already made, which I didn't even have to make it. I found it, and I'm not sure where he's at right this minute, but the only thing I have to do is kind of give him a new paint job. But I think I want this over on this side. I don't know if I like it on that wall or if I'd rather it be back here. Um, there's going to be some artwork for this room, like some ships and an actual portrait of Captain Cutler. But I've got that piece. And then this is a little table that I had shown before. Now, there's not a crystal ball in that episode, but there will be other little pieces in here that represent other episodes, like this, for example. That crystal ball. There's actually several episodes that have a crystal ball, but I think that would look good on that wall and put a picture above that. And then I've got this candlestick that I think I'll put there because that sort of matches the chandelier. And of course, that's hanging kind of funky, but I can just move that around a little bit. And there was something else I thought. Uh, Actually, that might be all I have for this room. So this one's got a long ways to go to fill it up, but I don't want I don't want it to be over the top because there was never too many things sitting around in the background. So I'm going to keep them simple, but I think once I get some artwork up, it's going to look really good, or maybe even a dining room table. I'll just have to see what I can come up with in the next few weeks. But that's how that looks so far. And if I find that Captain Cutler, I'll get him out and show him before this episode's over. And next is the kitchen. Now, this room is getting full pretty quick because it's just so easy to come across kitchen accessories. So here's a shelf that I had shown in a previous video, and I put some little silverware up there, or just some little utensils up there in the crock, and I think that's going to go on this wall. Here is our little cauldron. And even though there's not a fireplace there, I'm still going to have that right there like that. Um, Now, again, there's an episode where there are some sacks of flour, and they Fred gets into that flower and it gets all over him, and he's like solid white and he looks like a ghost. And let me see, I'd actually written that down because I was wanting to specifically. Oh, yeah, it's the Minor 49er episode. There's a scene where he gets into that uh, flower. So I've got these little flower sacks here just to kind of represent that. Just a little Easter egg for that episode. This is some sort of little mat that was under a stove in another project I did, but I didn't use it in that, so it just looks like some sort of little rug type thing. I'm just going to stick that in here wherever. I've got these little skillets that I'm going to hang on the wall, probably over on this side, but I'll stick a little pin up here in a little bit and put those up. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and stick them up since I'm here, doing it. I'm just going to do it. And these are going to go all the way through to the other room, but I will cut those shorter later. And those already look really cute. I don't think I had anything else to hang up in here, so that just helps to fill that up. And this room is looking really cute. Here's my little table, and I've purposely got a fork hanging off the edge because there's an episode where I think it's called Which Witch is Which, and Shaggy backs into a fork and pokes himself in his butt. And I won't say too much about it, but that's what happens in that episode. So that's why I've got that little fork hanging off the edge. And once I get all this done, I'm going to go back through when the whole thing's finished and point out each little Easter egg and what it is and what it represents, what episode it represents. Now here's a chair where I've just got some of my fake bread sitting there. And you're going to think, well, this is a haunted house. No one really lives here. Why is there food in here? Well, actually, that's what I think too. They always go in these old creepy houses, but there always is like food showing up in random places. But that's just how Scooby Doo was. And I definitely need, looking back, it definitely needs something on that back wall. So I'll have to think of something for that. And here's that little Scooby snack box that I had made and tore up. That one can lay in here. And then I've got this cotton candy, which I'm going to do something with later on. But I'm just going to sit that in here like that for now. And actually, I think that's it. I thought I had more for this room, but it's pretty well full and looks pretty good other than that back wall. I'm going to have to think of something to put back there. And the last room is the attic, and there's not really, I'm not at a very good angle, but I'll look at this better later. And all I have for that is this unfinished trunk that I want to finish making in another video. And then I've got this little tiny dollhouse that I just thought would be really cool to have a dollhouse in a dollhouse. So that can be in the attic. And then I got these two little creepy dolls that can sit up here with that. So I've got that one. And I've got this one, which I like this one because it looks like a doll. And they're just going to be hanging out up here in the attic. And I can't get them to stand up, but okay, wait, I gotta get it. There we go. And of course, I want to hang quite a bit up here and make it look like it's really full of stuff. I think like a mannequin would be really cool, like one of those dress form, like a sewer's mannequin would be really cool. And just, some old stuff, but I'll have to just gather up some stuff for that. And so we'll get a better look at this. I'm going to sit this in the shelf where I'm actually going to have it on permanent display in my room, and we'll look at all this better. Okay, so here's how the kitchen's turned out. I think it looks really good, and I don't think I want anything else in it other than something on that back wall, because once we get characters standing in here, that's really going to fill it up even more. There might be some tiny, tiny little details that I want to add to it, maybe a mouse or some spider webs and stuff. Um, but more of that little detail stuff will come later for each of the rooms. And then right over here, I did change the layout of that furniture. I just thought I liked this piece over here better, and then that piece on the back wall. Um, but since the kitchen has a shelf over here, I might want to put this big one over on this side just to balance that out. Maybe that looks better. Um, I might just keep it like this. I think that looks pretty good. So that way there ain't two big heavy pieces over this way. You know, it just kind of balances that out a little bit better. Um, so that's how that looks. And of course, I've got some artwork for that room. And then we'll have some characters standing in there. And then here is my Captain Cutler. This is a aquarium uh, decoration for an aquarium, and he's almost perfect for the character of Captain Cutler. He just needs to be repainted with a more brighter fluorescent green color. But I've had that for a long time in my Scooby Doo collection, and it's the perfect scale. Uh, Let me see. This is going to be Shaggy. So you can see that he's just a little bit taller than that. And some of the other characters, here's Fred. So he's a really good size for the scale. But he'll be down in that little area. And I can't remember if I've showed that, because I've been filming some of these clips, and I don't know if I'm saying this twice, talking about that piece or not. But if I have, oh well, you're hearing it twice. Now up here, this is I guess we'll call this the library. This is where the bookcase will slide across, and we'll make that little passageway going outside or wherever. I've pretty well kept it the way it was. And then over here, in I guess what I'm going to call the office room, I put the chair over in the corner, and I've put the little table. It just gave me more room for the table to sit here. And then I will work on those little taxidermy heads. And then here's that little cat that I had showed in another video. I'd forgot to put that in here earlier. And then let's see if I can crank you up to the bedroom. Okay, so the bedroom, I went ahead and put some stuff on the bed because I just layered some pieces of fabric on here, and I've frayed the edges. I just pulled some of the loose threads away to give it sort of a little fringe, and I've just laid those across the bed. And then I took an iron and just ironed the edges so that it would lay neatly and make it look like it's got some weight to it, so it didn't just stick off funny. And let's check out that little face. There's a little scream face. I like that little detail. And then over here in the hallway, that's pretty much how we all seen it. And then here's the bathroom. Now I did put a little rod on the wall. I just took a piece of wire and bent that to this little shape here, and then just stuck it in the wall, since the wall is just foam board. And then I'll hang some towels over that later. And so that's where we are now. I think everything's looking pretty good. Now, there is one thing that is driving me crazy. Other than that black wall that I'm wanting to do something with, the other thing that kind of bugs me is these edges are a little bit not pretty, like that don't look that great. But later, I'm going to go around here with like a little trim and like trim this all out, so it'll look better. I mean, I'm not going to use this, but I'm going to take like some balsa wood and just trim all this out and paint it some sort of color or stain it or do something, but it'll look really pretty once I trim it all out to where you don't see all that mess. But I just love how it's looking so far. And if you've liked this video, or if you love Scooby Doo, or just dollhouses in general, just like and subscribe so that you can keep up with this project. And I'll see you in the next video.